Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so for this video here, we will be hitting up a quest chain. There's actually 3 parts to this quest. Similar to Temple of Elemental Evil, it is a little bit more difficult. Now this quest is located here in the Gatekeeper's Grove, which if you watch the previous videos, it is accessible from the Korthos Harbor. Alright, so once you're in here, you just want to make your way over to where it has these 3 cups on the western side. And you'll be able to talk to whichever one. So you got one for heroic and then one for the epic difficulty there. As obviously we are level 10, we will only be doing the heroic. Now again, the quests are fairly difficult, so I do recommend a balanced party. Uh, or just a really, really strong character, or as well base your difficulty based on, what you're capable of handling. So I'm going to hop here on just Reaper 1, as we've been for these videos. Now, throughout these videos, there will also, throughout this and like the other 2 parts of this chain, there will be a lot of side optionals we will be doing. Now, this quest has a very good reason for doing side optionals. And that's you actually can get some crafting material, which I'll get into in just a bit here.
As you
So,
enter the room, a woman wearing a noble's finery gestures for you to approach.
all right. So, as you heard there, first objective is to speak with Dame Gold. I also want to point out this guy right here, Garvin. This is where you can actually build some of your own gear. So basically the way it works is throughout these quests there are components that you pick up. So like broken shackles, which I don't have enough of right now. Broken chain, don't have enough. Where's the other ones? Or broken collars, again, don't have enough. So I don't actually have enough to craft anything right now. But once we're through the chain, I'll come back in. And essentially what you can do is throughout these, you'll find 3 types of random items. So these rings, these shackles, and these chains, as well as a few named items, such as the symbol of the slave lords here, trinket, as well as the executioner's helmet. Um, Now, the named items like the helmet and the slave lord's trinket, those obviously come with predetermined stats. However, when you first acquire the ring, the shackles, or the chains, they don't actually have any effects on them whatsoever. So what you're able to do is then go ahead and craft an item. Now, essentially the way it's crafted is simply just turning these items in. So once I have 50 broken shackles, I can get any of these like blue gems. And, 50 chain, any of these red. Now, the way to make these items is it's super super simple. They really nicely color coded. You get one blue ability, one with the red. Uh, as you can see, there's a lot of reds. You get one with green, one of the yellows, and then finally one of the blacks. Now you can and one of the whites here as well. So you do get to pick any of these. So you get to pick which ones are you being added. And I really just love that aspect where they really nicely color coded it. So you get one of each color and then you can put it on your item. And as you can see, like you can make a fairly nice item out of it. Especially for level 8. Like I'm wearing a full set of slavers, a full 5 pieces, and yeah, it's totally worth it if you can make it through. All right, so here we're gonna get started. So we'll talk to Dame Gold.
Dame Gold points to the door at the rear of the chamber. The path beyond the service entrance will lead you to the abandoned temple. The slavers have set up an outpost there. Somewhere inside, I'd expect you'll find the information you need to track the slave lords back to their lair. Dame Gold's eyes narrow, and you hear the sound of steel in her voice. When you find them, I expect you to destroy them. All of them.
Alright, so once they're done, and it does give us our further information, this door is now selectable, and we can enter in the servant's entrance. And this is kind of where the actual quest starts. Did forget to summon a hireling, which I know I will need, so just one moment here. So as you see, you can return to this room if you do require. Alright, here. So the first thing that we do, we're kind of outside. We need to head through that little doorway there.
The path leads to an ancient wall.
And right on the other side
The slave lords
of this
hangs
hidden
above the
door
crumbling
to the
gateway.
left,
A poorly disguised
there will be
door can be seen at the rear of this alcove.
some enemies coming around that corner right there. Now, as you can see, they do have a nice amount of hit points, and they do a fair amount of damage as well. It's not as bad as the Temple of Elemental Evil. However, it is still, you know, they do still have a nice chunk of hit points. Alright, so we took out that first. So we do have an option. So with these optionals, excluding the rescue the slaves optional, there is, you can get chests which give you these crafting materials. Alright, so the first bit on our right here, we do have a trap. So just some traps on the wall. Of course we can disable them. Head on in, and we have some undead.
Most of this room is covered in dust.
Now this room here is completely optional and skippable. Generally speaking, I just hop around the corner, grab that trap, and I don't even bother coming into this room. Alright. So now we're going to head off to the left here, to where we were supposed to go. Now this hall, it does have some traps. Now this hall's traps are 100% avoidable. As you see, they're only actually on the side of the room. I'm gonna search up. So they do come in spurts. So we got this one, and there may be some more up further, which there usually is around the corner, right about here. And again, same thing. It's, you walk in the center, you completely avoid the trap. And again, the trap box. Now, as you can also see here,
destroyed, then hastily repaired.
As you can see, the quest experience itself isn't the greatest. And honestly, for the length of these quests, they should be worth a little bit more. However, as you see, like, the strength of the enemies isn't too terrible. Only having about 450 hit points or so on Reaper. You know, it's nothing too crazy. Nothing Temple of Elemental Evil difficulty, but it is again a fair bit longer quest. So just be prepared for spend some time in here. All right, so we got a few more of those right at the wall traps. Alright. So from here, directly in front of us, heading north, sometimes there is a slave in here. Again, the slaves are semi-random, but there are a couple of breakables, so. Alright. And what I mean by semi-random is they have a few spots that they can spawn, but not a very large amount of spawn locations. Alright, so for this section here, it's kind of got a rickety looking set of planks. They don't fall, nothing like that, but they are there. If you do happen to fall, as you see in the southwestern corner, there is a ladder to head back up. As well, there are some enemies down here, so sometimes I like to just hop down, spawn them in, get the ladder glitch, and die. So I hop down, spawn them in, and then I just come up top, and I take care of them. They're fairly easy kills, especially with being up top here, they can't hit you at all. Might get you some rems as well. It does clear the area in case you happen to accidentally fall later on. So the next bit, of course, we want to continue across the bridge. And again, around the corner, we're going to have some enemies. So let's just take a cleric. So this is where sometimes falling might be beneficial, as if they follow you down there, of course you can head back up and they can't get up. Alright. Just proceed a little further, and here's our first slave. So again, the locations that I'm finding these slaves might not be the exact locations you're finding them in. Now, again, they do have a few spawn locations, but typically speaking, if you just hit up these small little side rooms like this, again, you can see how big it is right from here, just like the other one. Step into the room, you can see if there's a slave immediately or not. They're not like super hidden. Alright. Bottom of the stairs we have some rats. Now again, I do want to point out that this quest is labeled, for the epic version anyway, is labeled as a legendary quest. Which I'll get into more about legendary quests once we get a bit higher level. But they are quite a bit stronger, so if you are doing this on the epic version, it's
the odor pours from a
quite
large
dangerous,
mound of smoldering
especially
compost
solo.
in the center of the floor.
Alright, so gave a little description. In this room, as you see, we got a door. I want to stress there is also a lever. Now, I have seen it in a couple of these corners. So just look around. It'll be in one of the corners. And you want to make sure, of course, that you pull it, as it does have one of the rune crystals that we do need to continue on. So, though it does let us go through the door now, there's a door coming up. I just want to make sure I got the breakables and there's no slaves hiding. But there is a door coming up, which, as you can see, right in front of us, that does have some crystals there. We are getting touches of lag too here. Hopefully the lag we're getting doesn't actually become any type of real problem. top up. So here, we do want to make a left, heading to that door. Obviously, we can't get through this one just yet. Now, I do want to point out, like as you saw, sometimes people open up the door and they make an immediate left. They ended up get like ambushed by them, and it's just not fun. So right here as well, there can sometimes be some pressure plate traps, which we did not get. Alright. So through the door here, we got a couple enemies. And this is why it is, like, in my opinion, why I generally go a little bit slower. Don't rush around that corner. Let those guys run around first. Because if I rush around the corner and I head right into this door here, then I've got enemies in front of me and behind me, and I just don't like being flanked. So I'm the rogue. I'm supposed to be the one flanking people. Alrighty. So inside this room is our first shrine. And besides the first shrine, you can also sometimes find some slaves in here. And we will also have, in the back here, our second lever to open up that door. Just a quick check for those slaves. Nope, clear. Alright, so there we are. Inside here,
in the graveyard.
kind of a little graveyard.
The plants sway gently, even though there is no wind.
Now, inside the center, on the mausoleum thereself, there is another lever to pull. However, they do have some undead in here. So they have some gas and some bats. So, as well as I think a couple of white casters, but just be prepared to deal with them. Sometimes you'll actually find some slaves either inside there or just in kind of this little hovel right here. So we got one just inside here. And yeah, let's go pull our lever. Bats.
The sound of a door opening can be heard in the distance.
So with the little side optionals, so far we actually haven't come across one where we can get any of these side optionals, but with the the side optionals there, let's grab that cleric. Depending on your difficulty is actually how many materials you will earn. So the higher the difficulty, the more items we're gonna get. Oh, it looks like we have some bear traps there. Cool. So yeah, as you can see, traps hit the enemies, so awesome. Alright. Let's go ahead and grab these. As you can see, they do count towards trap bonus. However, I do want to stress this. In this quest, it is very hard to get this trap bonus due to the fact that sometimes, for whatever reason, these side traps that you're disabling may not count. I haven't exactly figured out why some do, some don't. So we're at 11 traps, 12 traps. So they did seem to all count. But I have come across times where they don't count. Ooh, we got some electric ones here too. Nice. So we were at 12. We should be having another 9, so that'd be 21. So we'll see if we can count for all of them there. So far, it sounds like they're working. And again, this might have been fixed in, you know, since the last time I've done this. Yeah, it's 21. It did give us count from all, so awesome. Alright, so from here we want to head down and just head through this little door. And this will take us to the second floor.
The staircase descends several floors, ending in a dank tunnel carved into the earth.
Now again, in case we do need to head back up, be it we forgot a slave or whatever reason you have for wanting to head back, maybe you're guiding someone who's new to the quest and obviously hasn't watched the videos, you can do so just by clicking on the door there. Alright, so deeper in it starts to go from normal built caves to these ones here. I'm just going to toss on one of these. So I'm going to give myself a shield. So yeah, just in case you happen to get any troglodyte stench, they are considered to be poisons. So a cure poison will remove that there.
The foul stench of troglodytes permeates the air.
So as you can see, once we first get in here, there's a few groups of enemies. So first one is actually spawns right here at that campfire to our left. One over at the campfire at the end of the south end of the room. And then one group of right around the corner. And of course this one happens to have 2 Reapers to it. Three Reapers to it. Oh, maybe I just saw the caster and thought Reaper. Yeah, it looks like it was just the caster, not another Reaper, which is a good thing. Alright, so they look to be all dead. So you can actually break these eggs here for count towards your breakables. Oh, got another one. Hiding in the nest here. I guess he's watching the eggs. Or just recently hatched, I'm not too sure. Alright, so we can actually head down these paths. Now, there's only 2 that you really need to head down. And that is the first northern one here, where these spiders are coming out of. Alright, there. So that's this first northern one here, and down this path, once we go a little bit further in, around the corner, we're going to come to another room with more troglodytes. And this one, as you can see, kind of has a nice little group, so I just got to be careful. We'll need to grab the first group here, not pull anybody else, because, you know, we did get yellow alert right from this group here. So yeah, these troglodyte evokers, their go-to is that magic missile. Though they do have a few other spells that they cast, they definitely really like to lay on that one.
The horrifying stink of the troglodytes grows
And
heavy.
apparently we had a couple stuck, which I'm not going to complain. Makes it a little easier to take them out. And then a couple of skeletons here as well. Now the skeletons, as you can see, have quite a bit more hit points. Hitting all the way up to 1800 on this one. Opposed to the troglodytes, which even the champions there were hitting 700. So, you know, more than double there. They can also actually have, well, reapers, but they also have some rust monsters in here as well. So just watch out for that. I know they can be annoying. Just try to target them first. There we go. Alright. And then finally they have some at the end of the hall. Kind of right where that ramp is. So once you've cleared the room, sometimes there are again some slaves in here, so just, you know, feel free to grab them. Oh, and even sometimes some traps. Okay. This is why I love having auto search and or a very high spot to just be able to see them there. So we're at 21. Alright, so as you can see, as we're grabbing these traps, it's not actually giving us count for any of them. As well, because they had spawned in, it had dropped our trap bonus down to no trap bonus at all, which, I mean, does suck that it happens. Where, okay, you've gone down, you've gotten all the traps on that first floor, head down to the second floor, then it removes the bonus that you have, and it just not giving us count for any of them. We got 9 traps there, and well, still at 21. So, but anyway, moving forward, in this room we have a chest. Now these chests, it doesn't really have anything spectacular in them. It does contain crafting materials. Now it does kind of change what is available. As you see, we also can't re-roll these chests. It does kind of change. So each quest has one main item that you get out of this. So this quest, it'll be broken shackles. There's also kind of like a rarer one. So not frayed leather, for example, but it'll have a second one, which is a little bit harder to come by, and it'll spawn, you know, rare chance to spawn them. As well, they also have a very rare chance to spawn an item which can be used to upgrade these slavers items, such as this one here, to actually, like where it says the slavers mythic slot, and you can give it a mythic bonus there. So they are a lot harder to come by. As you can see, I do have a few of them. I don't have one on. So I think the mythic slot only works for these craftable ones here. As you can see, I don't yet have one on this one here yet either. Alright, so now that we've done that side, you can head down this one. It doesn't really have anything, and it kind of just leads to a dead end. Though it might have slaves, as well as, you know, a few spiders, so nothing, you know, it's not harmful to poke your head around the corner to see if there's a slave. Generally speaking, because that slave optional, other than a little bit of experience, and I don't mean too much, like there's 400 experience there, is what we're going to get with the all of our XP bonuses for being VIP, having the voice the master. Gonna get about 400. It's not really worth going out of your way. Generally speaking, if I see them, I'll grab them, but I don't go out of my way to get them. So I generally skip this tunnel here, heading down to our next tunnel, which is... got more traps. So as you can see, the traps have hit the enemies. Ultimately it didn't do a whole lot to them, but if you keep dragging them through, or if they happen to be bear traps, I really like if they are bear traps because I can employ that to get them stuck. Alright, let's see if these ones are going to give us count. While we're waiting here. If they are, I'll grab them. If not, yeah, they're still not giving us any bonus for them. So I'll just grab enough to get through. And I'm just going to leave the rest because I don't need the trap parts. My hireling room suit trap. Alright. So heading on up. Depending on your angle, like we do need to head through that open door there. But depending on your angle, you might actually see these enemies before they get to you. So, I'm just gonna... As well... Ooh, you've got a plague reaver. As well, there can actually be traps sometimes here as well. Go. So the trap can either be located on this side or sometimes it's around the corner, like right in here. So just be aware they might trap either side, they might trap no side, or they might trap both. So they are kind of random spawning here. Alright, continuing on. We have some rats. Oh, I love that meteoritic star. Alright, so keep heading south, up and around. So once we get to this room here, where it's kind of got a misty floor, there are more bus monsters. And as you can see, a whole lot of enemies. Enough to just immediately jump. Right up to, oh, and 2 fear reavers. That's gonna kind of suck. Alright, there we go. Yeah, what I'll do sometimes is when I do disable those traps, like I only disabled that one side, so I'll run through the trap using the safe side. Of course, the enemies typically don't follow using the safe path and just run through.
Warm. The air is rank with the smell of rotting garbage.
Alright, so at this section here again, we do have an optional path to split off and head down, as well as a second random one. So the one that we need to go down to further the quest is actually off to the right. We're heading west. So I am going to clear that path first. And again, the reason I'm jumping is just to mess off their shots. Ooh, 72. Nice pull. Alright, so we also have, minus the path that we're supposed to head, which is west, we have one continuing south, and then one off to the east. So the one off to the south, again, it's like that one spider one. It's kind of just leads to an immediate dead end. That one's completely skippable. The one to the east, however, does have another one of those chests, which contains some of that crafting materials for those items. And if you didn't see there, that one chest that I did get with the crafting materials had 30 in them, and it requires only 50 to make a gem. Honestly, these items are fairly easy to obtain. You might have to run this quest a couple of times to get one item, but I mean, ultimately that's not that bad if you only got to repeat it twice. I know there are several others where you might have to run, 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7 times. Alright, so another thing to point out is heading east here, just at the first bend, we do have a set of shrines as well, which I might actually use before continuing, just to fully top up that spell points there. This one here, so our chest is actually off to our left here, in that little hollow where the adventure pack is. First, however, I am going to head right, or heading south, and just clear out these undead. They don't have a lot of hit points here, so it won't take too long. Plus, if I roll 20, that's just not a kill, so that's nice. Alright, and the reason I had done that is right in that little hollow, they have an enemy which, if you've been watching these videos here, up to this point, you actually haven't run into. It's an enemy called an Umberhog. Now, what makes these enemies so annoying is they have 2 or 3 attacks that can actually stun you. So it can get to be really, really annoying. If you slowly approach, you might be able to spawn just a couple of them at once and not spawn all of them.
Collapsed recently.
So I'm going to try and I'm just going to turret. No, it looks like they're all going to come at us. So I'm going to back up as soon as possible. Take with that chip first. So as you can see, decent amount of hit points. We're not really making a very large dent on them. And the other thing is, they actually do some decent damage. So there's its stun effects when it puts down its head. It also has like a charge bash attack, which can do that as well. We lucked out and didn't get hit by any of that, so awesome. Just missed the pet. As soon as you approach, as you see, the chest spawns in. Once you kill them, the chest unlocks, and we can grab our loot. So we only got 9 from this one. So generally speaking, the right around the 9 mark is approximately what you'll get when you're doing it on Elite. Though sometimes you can get the rarer, I guess, higher tier reward, which will drop 30 then. But again, they can also have some of these rare materials in them as well. Alright, so continuing on. And I do want to apologize, this quest is going to be a little bit longer. Again, each of these parts of the Slave Lords are a little difficult, and actually the end chain, like the final part 3, is, the end boss is quite difficult, and you know what, honestly speaking, probably going to die a few times, if I'm being completely honest. Alright, but anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. So this section here, we have some water in the bottom, and then a pass. So the water itself doesn't hurt you, but it does have a very strong current, pushing you back towards the start here. So we do want to head around the ramp here, and we do have some enemies. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any type of penetrating shot or anything like that, but if you do have improved archer's focus, for example, these skeletons are nicely in line. It really makes it killing these in epics a lot easier. Uh, Obviously, they have substantially a larger amount of hit points, but you can just penetrate shot. And if you have that even in heroics, when you're doing this quest, it really, really makes a difference. And honestly, any type of crowd controlling effect. What some people do is they just have their wizard run up, target like the middle of the three, toss a flame wall, hide around the corner, let it do its thing. Alright, so once we turn this one, again, we're going to have more of this. So we have some more skeletons, and we also have some fallen slaves. So I'm actually going to start with the killing off the fallen zombie slaves before working on the skeletal archers. Just because from this distance, the archers really don't pose a threat. As you see, they're either firing really, really low or way too high and hitting the ceiling. And again, this is due to me jumping up and down. So if I was to stand still, they would be able to... Oh, their arc shots are hitting the ceiling anyway. So at this distance, it really doesn't matter. But generally speaking, when you're at a distance and you're able to jump up and down, they kind of anticipate where you're going to be at the time of when they fire, which is what was causing them to shoot at the ground real early. Alright, so another thing to point on this part here where you're heading west, they actually have a trap. Now the trap itself doesn't do any damage, but it is an air jet. And as we're on a smaller platform, that air jet is most likely going to push you off in the water. Now if you don't have a strong jump, which I'm actually going to hop in the water here, so as you see, like, it's got a very strong current. And if you don't have a high enough jump to be able to grab the ledge, it's going to push you all the way back to the start. And like as you see, it's got a real strong current, so there's no way you can swim against it. Even if you're using the jump technique where you're just like on the top of the water and you constantly jump, you can't get enough momentum in the air to make up for how much it's pushing you back. Alright, so again, to pass this one here to the continuing off west is an immediate dead end.
This passage appears to have been deliberately collapsed.
Heading south, however, we actually have some oozes in the water. Now we can't actually see them right away, but as we proceed... There we go. Oh, and apparently some reapers. Now there are a decent amount of these oozes, which if you're also unfamiliar, gray oozes also like to destroy your weapons. So if you're doing slave lords and you're melee, definitely recommend taking your time, getting possibly an Everbright item. That way you can attack these oozes. Ah, shoot. Well, swim with the current and get there faster. So possibly an Everbright item, which will... It is immune to the wear and tear damage, the durability damage of rust monsters and these oozes. So I definitely recommend picking them up, as there's a lot of those rust monsters and a decent amount of these oozes here that, and just straight out wear and tear of the weapon, you know, from it being a long quest, that it is good to have a spare. Luckily, oozes are slow. Making it fairly easy to just peg them off. And if you got to run a little bit, turn around and reshoot them. It's, easily doable. Just don't do what I did and run off the edge. Alright, so heading up here, right at the top of the stairs, oftentimes they do have a trap, which we did not have, as well as we have the start of our ogres and orc groups. I'm just gonna keep kind of backpedaling. Also going to take out this group here. Let's toss this. Alright. So for here, the way that we're supposed to proceed is heading north. However, again, if we continue heading west, we're going to run into kind of another orc encampment, which has another one of those optional chests for us that contains some crafting materials. And honestly, the biggest reason to run these quests, again, not a large amount of experience out of the quest itself. You do get a decent amount of favor, but for the length of these quests, even if you're skipping all these optionals and just going to complete the quest, it is a long quest. And honestly not worth it unless you're going for these crafting materials. Alright, so while we're proceeding further to the west here, we have a campfire. Now in this campfire, it does have a section both east and west, and in them, we're going to have nice hordes of ogres. So just be prepared for kind of a little brutal battle. Hopefully my thing will proc off. It is not procking off, but these. Another one of them. Oh, I hate how ogres are so big. I was hoping my meteoritic star was going to proc off. I mean, we were chipping them down, but ooh, traps. Pressure plate traps. They're too close to me. Risk it. Not at this amount of hit points. Alright. There we go. However, those guys, I will totally risk it. Ooh, and it's the explosive ones. Alright, there we go. Ooh, too far away. Alright, so minus the, the 9x9 pattern, they also sometimes have triangles, which, hey, these ones are counting. Cool. So yeah, since these ones are counting, I am going to stop and grab them all. See if we can't reclaim some of these bonuses that they took away from us. Though I'm not too hopeful on that one. Alright. 57. Another nice, decent one. Alright. As well, we can have a slave in this section. And then again, we have further slaves just north of us here. So, there we go. So before we head north, this little section right here, which has the Orc Chieftain, it is an optional to kill him. As well, in the corner, it does have our little chest, as well as another just random loot chest. Another thing to point out, which I'm actually surprised, even though we've only looted 2 of these optional chests here thus far, but this is also where you would loot from those little chests. Is where you'd loot the craftable, either the ring, the shackles, or the chains. Now each quest drops only one of them, so I forget which one this one drops. I think it's the chains, but I'm not too sure. So something to point out here, especially being a kind of a squishy range type character, this tent here, we can actually get up top if we hop on the rock, hop right up. The enemies are not able to get up here, and it does give us a little bit of a hole to shoot from up top, though my big head's in the way, allowing us to kill while still being safe. So I'm gonna run up here, spawn the enemy in,
you approach. You must be pretty stupid to come in
and then just hop on up top.
I'm gonna smash you so hard.
So they do try to. Well, right now they're focusing on my turret. Once they're done on my turret, they try to focus on a way to get to you. Because they're unable to do that, pick them off. There we go. Alright, so there we go. So all that's left is Big Boss Boy. This is also where I love that auto attack, which I don't actually have on my bar yet. So if you're looking to get your auto attack going under your feats, you should have basic feats, and it'll be one just labeled attack. So I'm going to drag that onto my bar here. Actually, up here, number 5. And just target that. So this will, frees up your hands to grab yourself a drink, which is what I'm going to do right now while you're killing them. And that killed him a little bit quicker than I thought it was. So yeah, this guy, he does have a decent amount more hit points. If you saw there, he had about 3,000 hit points. But, hey, why not? Alright, so we rescue the slave. So we got random loot. And then we have more crafting materials here. Some 10 more broken shackles. So far we've gotten 49 out of that quest. Well, we only need 50 for the gems, so it's not too bad. Alright, so if we head north, another group of enemies. Fear Reaper, lovely. Or Famine Reaper, not Fear. Alright, so heading further north, we have a couple of breakables. But in this little hollow, a nice chunk of slaves. So we have 6 slaves in here. Now they always have a fair amount of slaves in this little hidey hole. As well, they have a shrine which I am totally using. So I'm going to get my hireling to use. Since we're here, I mean, obviously you can come back and save these if you want. I personally, I won't need to come back, so I'm just going to use it while I'm here. Alright, so from this point we want to head all the way back to that garbage room, I guess it was. Oh no, that wasn't this one. So we want to head back to that section and head north, not the garbage room. That was the last one. Alright, so here we are. And heading north. So there's a little kind of drop off there. Again, dead end. You want to head north through the door. And here we are. We got another water section. So I definitely recommend taking the guys out on the left. The ones straight ahead of you, they are on kind of a little island, which we do need to go down that path, but they're stuck over there. So they can't come up and melee you, which is why I generally take out the ones on the left first. Take out the guys who can get to us. Everybody else is easy. Alright, so in this water here, we do have a rubble. And that's right underneath the door there. There's nothing else under here. We do, however, need to actually just hop right here. And for quest progression, you can actually stop right here as the lever's right on the inside. Right there. That'll open our door to continue on. However, down this path a little bit further, apparently we have a whole bunch of bear traps, which I'm going to put to use. But at the end, we also have another optional, which will give us another chance for those crafting materials. Bear traps really aren't doing their job. I say as I catch one in it. So, you know what, let's just disable this far side here. Make it a little bit easier to run through them for myself. Alright, so this section here, as we approach, he starts spawning in enemies. As these enemies start spawning in, it will also spawn in some back here as well. So just be prepared. If you're fighting them from here, there will be an ambush. But like the other guy, There's also a safe spot here as well. For this one, you do need a little bit more jump. So I'm just going to give myself a jump. And it's actually right up top here. So what you need to do is hop on these little torches.
The witch doctor
And
looks
then
up and
right
says,
up onto his tent. If you do it
Oh, I
quick
love
enough,
adventurers.
they actually haven't
Nobody
spawned in yet.
complains when I break them.
So it does give you ample enough time to get up there and safely hide. Ooh, apparently that one ran out. So we can call it hireling up top here. So as you can see, they do have some guys that can attack. There he is. Oh, they've changed this. You can't hit him now. I'll make sure that hirelings die. So heal me. So I am just going to take out the trash here first. Another trick is, while you're up here, as you can see, they are kind of running around. You used to actually be able to shoot through this circle, making it quite a bit easier to hit enemies, but apparently you can't shoot through this one any further. But you can, however, if you come to the corners, attack the corners, like actually attack the walls with, you know, fireball and the like, which does end up hitting the enemies as they're close enough to the wall to get hit by the splash damage. Or just, you know, straight floor. And the fight itself, as you can see, isn't the hardest one. What actually makes this one difficult, as that slave guy gets damaged, that's where that spawn comes from back there. It's gonna basically call for aid.
the witch doctor cries,
Savage, defend me!
the witch doctor gives a final cry,
So it's
and then falls silent.
alright, there we go. Turn you back on. And again, random loot chest. It's not too terrible. Probably gonna leave that there though. Not something I'd ever use. And then again, our chest. So yeah, here we got the chains. And this is that rare one that I was talking about, the shattered symbols. So these ones are a little bit harder to come by. They only drop again from this quest. And as you can see, these ones are actually bound to character, or bound to account rather. So a little bit harder to come by, at least I'm sure. I'm just going to quickly check here. So yeah, they are bound to account. You don't, however, need a whole lot of them in order to craft these items. Not the rare ones. It's the base ones that you need. And was I getting count for these traps? It does look like it. No, I am not. So there they can stay. Alright, I'm gonna grab that rubble. Then we're gonna hop up, head through the door. Now in here we have a giant puzzle. And a whole lot of traps. Now obviously, don't want to light any of these red squares. However, as you can see right to the left of the door, there is a trap box. Which if you get that, it disables all the traps. From here, all we gotta do is solve the puzzle. You can, I believe, pick the lock. Nope. Okay, so yeah, you do gotta solve the puzzle. So you wanna pull the lever on this right wall, which will turn on the puzzle, and then you just gotta rotate until you solve. And again, turn that off. I personally just solve from the end to the beginning. That's the way I've always done these types of puzzles. I find it just easier to work from the back, but ultimately, whatever works for you. Now, once you solve the puzzle there, it immediately gives you a chest here, and then we also have a lever, sorry, which is pulled and will open our door to continue. So let's grab this chest. Now this chest is another loot chest. So there, at this point, we've already got more than 50 broken shackles in just this first run alone. We would be able to go and craft one gem for one item. Alright, so now that we're heading northeast through here, there are some traps. Now these lightning traps are twofold annoying, so not only is it just a trap, but it can also knock you down, which can be really annoying if you try to like run through and there are enemies at the end of the hall, which actually, if I just start shooting, I can target. And yeah, so these specific traps, enemies don't get hit by these ones, which I find really kind of crappy. So not only do they not hit them, but you know, they can also potentially knock you down. So they have one right when you come in, and then one a little bit further up, actually just a little bit before where these guys spawn in. Making it really difficult if you're trying to either pedal back or, you know, back pedal and you happen to run through the trap, get knocked down, they can just get on you and, well, that would be the end of you. Alright, so let's toss those. Alright, so, a lot of dudes. So in this room, big giant room, we got a door at the very end. That's all you gotta do. You just gotta run to the door, open the door. However, in the northeastern corner, we do have a lever, which actually I think you do gotta pull this one.
Quiet sobs echo from the cell below.
No, so this one only controls the cell doors. So once you pull that one, hop on down, and we have a whole lot of slaves here. So this is usually definitely enough to get that 10, rescue a total of 10 slaves. Sometimes it's even enough to get 20 on its own. But as you can see, we got to rescue a total of 40. So there's still a lot of slaves yet to go. And again, this is where a good majority of them, I don't usually come down here. It's not required at all. It does give you a little bit of experience for rescuing those few slaves. What do we get? 20 slaves, we got 600 XP, 650. So adding that in with the 450, that's what, 1100 XP. Not really worth coming down here. Alright, so moving forward, down to the south, we actually have, I think, the way we're supposed to go. Alright, so, sorry, not south yet. So we're gonna actually keep heading east. No, this is definitely the way we're supposed to go. Yeah, that's the end. Alright, so we are gonna make that turn. We're gonna head this way. I just don't remember it being so many downs. Yeah, okay, so here we have a small prison with few slavers. And if you've been grabbing all the slaves like we have, this will actually be where you get the last of them there. Carissa, you should probably heal yourself. Or me. Alright. So in here we're going to have the last of these slaves. Now, a nice little trick. You can actually talk to them and rescue some of them before opening up these gates. Now you can target the doors individually. They also have a lever on the wall to just open them all. Honestly, grab the lever. It saves you so much time. And again, if you can reach them, don't even gotta head into these cells. Just grab them. No, they're out of range. Definitely out of range. You're not. She's here. And then our last one is... don't tell me I'm missing one. Well, it seems somewhere we missed a slave. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'll show you as you can see, the amount of XP 800, so we might get 950 out of that one. Again, nothing too major. If we head to the very south of this one, got a blocked off door. We also have a shrine. Now shrine is kind of important, as it is the last shrine in this. Oh, here we go.
To contain
cool.
Nothing of value.
So yeah, about 9. I was not too far off. 975. I said about 950.
Gold will be pleased.
So last shrine before the end fight. So I know it's been a long video, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. But here we are at the end. So we're gonna head up. We're gonna head up some more, and then we're gonna head down. So as soon as you run in here, as you can see, they kind of got the door spikes. So the door is going to close in on you and lock you in here. Now, the way it's set up is you got a giant square platform in the center, and you have two bridges on either the, right side or left side, or north side, east, south side. They also obviously have this one here so that you can get to the center. You can work your way all the way around the outside edge. If you happen to fall into the water, they do have a ladder located on the northwestern corner, as you can see right there in the corner. I'm gonna shoot this and light that up a little bit. As well, if you have the jump, you can just jump straight out of the water. I'm going to give myself a jump, actually. Now, my trick for this one here is I start by taking out, because he comes at you in kind of a couple of waves. So the boss man starts attacking you right away. But he also has some trash here. Now, as he reaches a specific hit point, I believe it's about 50, he'll spawn in another wave of enemies. This one being dogs, and dogs are just super annoying. Plus, if you're looking to get that full conquest bonus, you do want to kill some of the trash first. So I focus on the trash solely up until it's all dead. Then I take him down to 50, spawning in that second wave. That way I don't have to deal with so many at once. But let's get to it. So I'm going to hop in,
The slave lord looks you over.
toss a turret to kind of distract him.
Yes.
As
You've
well with
had
a
your
high
fine
jump,
price.
I can make the jump
Once
from
you're properly broken.
here,
Guards, take
um,
them alive if you can. If not,
which
well,
obviously they got to run around, so it takes them a little bit longer to get to you. Minus the dogs. The dogs obviously get to you pretty quick. But as everybody else is running around to get to you, once they get close, hop back over. They got to start that process all over again. And I just keep hopping back and forth. If I fall, I jump up. And, I mean, super annoying for them. Kind of annoying for us. Like, it is a little difficult hopping back and forth while fighting. I know a lot of people can't do it, but makes it easy. Alright, so for the next wave of enemies that he spawns, he actually spawns them over here. So they start off right on this side, so that's not where we want to be. Over here. There he is at about half.
very well.
And there's that next wave of enemies, which are dogs. I'm going to quickly take out the dogs. Now the dogs are dead. All that's left is the boss with our hireling, and how fast we're killing him. I am just going to stand here.
The slave lord
And
crumbles into a
that's
lifeless
that. Oh,
heap.
we had one more dog.
Now to search for clues to the location of the
So,
other slavers.
killed him. Unfortunately, didn't get Rance Conquest. We were able to get up to Vandal. We never got any trap bonus, despite having it earlier on. And that's that.
You
So,
notice a shipping manifest
yeah, here's
sitting
the
on
quest.
desk.
At the very next to the door here, we have a shipping manifest, which we do need to pick up. As soon as we do, that is quest complete. As you see,
Some distance from
27,000.
This
It
fortress
took us
seems to play a
just
major
over an
role in the
hour,
slave
an hour
trade.
and 15 minutes.
More clues about the slave
Really
lords
long
can
for such a
doubtless be found
small
there.
amount of experience. And in these chests here, again, they were going to give you some crafting materials as well. There are chances to get, and I don't have enough shards. You know what? I'm going to buy some. So just one moment here. Will I buy some shards for us? They're not on sale right now. Yeah, you know what? Let's just grab the big pack. Alright, so there we are. So as you see, my jumped up another 2,000. So I did spend a little bit of money on that. So if you don't pick up any loot out of here, it does give you that option to re-roll your loot. Which I'm going to do. Alright, so we got one of the named items here. It's kind of for a caster. Now, as you see on these ones, it does have that last bonus effect. So add a Slave Lord's bonus set, which as you see, mine already have. It does give you a choice of 3 sets that you can choose. Personally, I just went with Slave Lord's Might. Getting that little bit of damage. I'm going to reroll that loot. And I guess one more reroll. Hey, we got the Executioner's Plate Mail. So this plate mail, it goes with the helm, my Executioner's helm. It actually makes a fairly nice cosmetic looking, and as you can see, for a melee style character, it is really nice. It gives you that profane, well-rounded bonus at level 8. Again, fairly quite nice, insightful, intimidate, quality, deadly. It's a fairly decent armor. And what I'm gonna do here, I am gonna grab that, and of course our broken shackles. And I'm actually going to turn off my cosmetics here. So I'm just going to do that. Do that. So yeah, I'm just going to take that off. So there's our helmet. The armor Now the Executioner's plate mail, just so I can show you guys that as well. It's probably going to go in here. Yeah, that's our Executioners. So this is what the set looks like. Like, it does really work. Obviously, it was built to work well with itself. And I just, honestly, I like the cosmetic. That is really nice for a paladin looking. They do have a gold variant of this as well, which can be earned through basically some of the events there. So I just want to put on my armor back. And yeah, so that's been the first part of Slave Lords. So there are two more parts. You can always select the door right here, which will send us right to part 2. I am just going to choose to return to the Grove, as I do need to grab some ship buffs and such. As well, if you are on the outside here, when you select the door, so it does give a here, obviously nothing happens because we still haven't completed. He just sends us to part 2. When we click on the door, it lets us re-enter part 1, or we can go to part 2. So it does give you that choice. Alright, so anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.